What we're seeing in front of us, Mr. President, it's still Saturday, November the 18th, I believe, if I've got that correct. It's, I guess, about 9:30. What the Illuminati like to do is throw beggars and homeless men in front of you, like this one that just crossed you on the street, because that's what I'm going to end up with, like the Illuminati think, Mr. President. So frequently through the day, they'll throw people who are disabled in canes or walking chairs or wheelchairs, as we've seen a few times. Or they'll have, what they really like to do is have disabled dogs, because just to remind you that you're disabled, and because I have post-traumatic stress disorder, I'm disabled, and I am the equivalent of scum on the planet. Let's remind ourselves when the Great Water Apocalypse hit in May of 2016 in Canada, when the violent cops basically turned on the citizens of this country and started murdering them and gassing them to death. The homeless were the first to be targeted. They think that someone like me is a leech in society, and if I'm disabled mentally or physically, I have nothing to offer our society at all, which, as we know, is completely oxymoronic, because what I've done for Canada is illuminate the fact and warn people for several years that this was coming, but they like to joke constantly during the day that I am disabled, so I am a second-class citizen in the society, and all I do is leech any benefits that I get from Canada. This is short-sighted. It's a very Nazi way of looking at life, but in a Nazi state, you find that whatever the cops decree, everyone must abide by. That's why there's such violence, and that's why 35 million Canadians had to flee. Where are the Canadians, Mr. President? That's a good question. We should address that. I believe that they're in the mountains somewhere and up north. I still maintain that the Canadians are largely... That was Illuminati. Remember, Mr. President, everything in here is scripted. I believe that the Canadians who fled, the 35 million, for their lives, because this city is empty just like every other Canadian city, I believe they're somewhere in the mountains and somewhere up north. Whether they fled the country or not, I still don't know, because all of the information I get here, all the news broadcasts are completely censored and fabricated. There is no freedom of information. There's no freedom of anything in here. Everything that you see is fake. The question is what's happening in the rest of the world, and what's happening primarily in the United States, because I get the sense that some sort of great illusion was created that Canada is still a normally functioning country, which it's clearly not. There is no economy here at all. And as we've seen with the Vancouver Harbor, several days now we've filmed that, there is no activity. So what is going on in Canada and what's going on in the rest of the world, I don't think that you're given an accurate representation of what's going on in Canada, and the people who live here are certainly not getting any kind of an accurate representation of what's going on in the world. I believe I did mention earlier this week, Mr. President, that the Illuminati are claiming that you are the Antichrist, and they also claim that the CIA was the Department of Homeland Security is the Antichrist, which parts of the Department of Homeland Security are now being run by the Antichrist. Let's be honest and let's be truthful about that. There are elements within the CIA that are running this whole operation in Canada as part of their intelligence, which is an oxymoron as well, because the CIA should not be operating anything in Canada because it's not American soil, and they have no business operating and running the political scene in Canada either. Who is ultimately responsible for me being imprisoned here and held without appearance before a judge, or held without being told what the charges are, why I'm being imprisoned here? Those questions remain to be answered. It also remains to be answered who was responsible for kidnapping me a week and a half ago, and who was responsible for kidnapping me on my way from Prince Edward Island to Toronto and drugging me with the date rape drug on June 14th, 2016. These questions are outstanding. They will not be going away. I need to make it clear, I suppose, at this point, because it seemed to be quite a shock to everyone that when I announced that the CIA was behind this. It needs to be clearly stated that there are only two outcomes for me, Mr. President, in this scenario. Either I get my freedom back or I die. I refuse to live under servitude to any human being at all, and I have proven that I will fight to the very last breath for my freedom. At this point, I'm not looking to die, and I'm certainly not looking to commit suicide, but I refuse to live in servitude to another human being. So there's only two outcomes for me. Either I'm given my full freedom back, or I die. That's it. I'm not willing to put up with anything. I'm not willing to surrender, as they actually several times yesterday indicated that I should surrender and that I needed to play ball with them. They do this quite frequently, which is puzzling because they don't seem to get the point, Mr. President, that I will never give up. I'm just not the type of person that gives up. And I'm certainly not the type of person that ever bows down or defers to authority when it comes to my freedom or my life. I was born on Canadian soil. I'm still standing on Canadian soil. This country still has a Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It has been attacked and is now at war with the Illuminati. Those are my principles, and I will not be backing down from them. This is still Canadian soil. There is still a Charter of Rights and Freedoms that exists, on which Canada derives all of its rules and its rights and its privileges. Here we go here. We were talking about this, Mr. President, of the harassment that I face. Here's another one.
Never marry Christina Hamel. I don't care who's here, bitch. I don't fuck with you.
Imagine being gang stalked 24 hours a day, Mr. President, with people like that and the one I showed you earlier. I think I've shown ample evidence now of what's really going on inside Canada, what the Nazi state of Canada currently looks like, and what it's like to live in this hell day after day after day. I'm still waiting for the Canadian government to do something. They have done nothing for the past year and a half. I don't know where the Prime Minister is, and I find it, frankly, reckless and completely un-prime ministerial that Justin Trudeau still refuses to acknowledge, let alone address, where's my Canada. So we're almost at 10 o'clock, I hope. My plans for the day, I need to panhandle to get a little bit more money to get some cigarettes and some coffee. If I get some food, that would be great. I won't really count on that. Yesterday we did have, I'll say, a very kind woman bought me dinner at McDonald's, and a very, very kind man gave me some money in the morning that allowed me to get me some coffee and sit down at McDonald's for a coffee and a muffin at one point, which was a real luxury for me. When you're homeless and you've had everything stolen from you by the police, to be able to sit down and afford a coffee at McDonald's for $1 is a real treat. It's difficult today. It's been a bad week. I was starved to death this week. I have spent last night, every night now I sleep on concrete on the streets. It's challenging to getting through the days, but I'm a fighter and I keep going, and one day I will get my freedom back, hopefully, or the only other door or road that's open, because I will not stop fighting, is death. So that's what we're looking at. Either I get my freedom back or I will be dead soon. It sounds grim, but I don't make the rules in this Nazi internment camp. I just have to survive and try to get through it. until sooner or later someone gives me my freedom back. That would be great. It would be wonderful. My sister's birthday is on the 21st of November. It would be absolutely fantastic to spend her birthday with her. Her name is Kelly Dobson. I've said that before, Mr. President. Any help that the United States government, not the CIA, any help that the United States government could get me getting back my sister and reuniting with her after 3 years of forced estrangement by clone cops in Canada would be greatly appreciated. I'm at the point where I'm pretty much fed up with everything here. I'm fed up with the CIA. I'm fed up with the rich and powerful in America that are so evil that they would starve a man to death out of pure hate for human life. I'm pretty much fed up with this whole situation. So I get the sense that this is reaching a climax really soon. So either I'm going to get my freedom or I'm going to be dead on the streets of Vancouver. That's the way this is shaping out. It's a binary outcome, Mr. President, at this point. It's either one or the other. I'm not struggling to survive here much longer, and nor can I. How much longer can someone go with one meal a week? Not very much longer. So that's how things look on Saturday morning. I'll let you just quickly look at, just so you can see Dunsmuir and Hornby in downtown Vancouver. This is what things look like this morning. There's a Starbucks over there. I'll be panhandling over there for part of the morning until I can get some more money to get some cigarettes and another coffee. So we'll end this video, and we might send another one out today, seeing what's just depending on how the day goes. It looks like this one's shaping up already to be pretty bad. Who knows how the things are going to end. This is what life is like when you're pushed out onto the streets by the cops in Canada. This is what life is like every day. It's very challenging to get through some days. This looks like one of those challenging days. Maybe things will perk up. Let's be optimistic. Maybe things will get better.